Today we're going to talk about the 5 mistakes you can't afford to make when dealing with hair loss, so let's get started. Number 1, denying hair loss and not getting on medication as soon as possible. If you're deciding to living in denial or maybe not checking up on your hair loss, but since you're watching this video, I'm sure you know at least that you're balding, but the longer that you ignore this problem, the worse off you're going to be, and the less of a possibility you'll have to actually regrow your hair. And yes, there's no promise you can actually regrow your hair using medication, because not everyone will react well to the medication and regrow their hair. However, if you identify it early enough, at least that will buy you some time to actually get on medication and try to deal with it. So basically it's a ticking time bomb, and the longer you leave it, the less likely you actually are to be able to regrow it. And if you think about it, if you leave your balding for long enough, your hair follicles will actually die out. And once they're dead, you're not going to be able to revive them, which means basically you're going to have to get a hair transplant if you want to have hair in that particular place where the hair follicles are dead. So basically, by denying hair loss and not getting on medication as soon as possible, you're setting yourself up for failure. Number 2, not staying consistent. This is super important because you're going to have to show up every single day to put in the work in your regimen in order to yield the desired results. And this is not just for the hair loss regimen, but this can be applied to the gym, it can apply to like your favorite job, a hobby, like you're learning a new skill. It can be applied to so many things. So let's say you have 100% that you can spread throughout 7 days a week, just as an example. Would you rather take 100% of day 1 and then do 0 effort for the remaining 6 days? Or would you spread it out across the 7 days? So you would have 14.2% on the Monday, on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, blah, 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 blah. Of course, the latter is a better choice, because then what you're doing is you're showing up every day and you're putting it a little bit by effort, but across a long time, it's going to give you better results than going all in on one day and doing nothing for the rest of the week. Because this is not supposed to take over your life, but what this regimen is supposed to do is supposed to give you little tasks to do every single day, which you must do if you want to keep your hair this way. And while feeding that little bit every single day, you're just going to get better and better and better results. And I must be honest with you guys, when it comes to derma rolling, I preach that we should do it once a week, for me personally every Sunday. And even for me, I don't show up every Sunday and do my derma rolling. I tend to miss it sometimes because of work or other things, and deep down that's not really an excuse, because I also know that if you truly want something to happen, you will be able to get it done despite everything else that's going on. But since I've personally been getting such good results from this hair loss regimen, which I'm currently on month 6, to me it's like, I can skip it, it doesn't matter, because I know I have pretty good results on this regimen that it's not a must. Whereas if I had like half of the results that I currently have, I would most definitely be putting in more work into this regimen. But I must also add, I never miss Finasteride and I never miss Minoxidil. So that I keep super strict. It's just derma rolling that I tend to deviate from sometimes. That being said, I would probably have even better results if I'd use my derma roller every single Sunday. Number 3, not trying various types of medication to see what works for you. As I've said so many times before, everyone reacts differently to different medications. I've personally used a variety of minoxidil brands, not by plan, but just by going to my local pharmacy and seeing what they've had. And if they haven't had the brand that I've used before, I take a new brand, because I know that it is minoxidil, and as long as it has 5%, it's going to work. And same with Finasteride, I've used 2 different brands, and I actually prefer one of them more than the other, but that doesn't mean that for you it's going to be the same. You might prefer the one that I don't prefer over the one I prefer. I would strongly recommend, like if you find something that really works and you get really good results, stick with that. And especially for the minoxidil, because with the Finasteride it's a little bit more expensive and you buy like a 3-month package at a time. It's not as easy to change between different brands. But with the minoxidil, what you can do is actually buy like a single pack, try it out. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, change. Because there's so many like visible side effects, such as like itchy scalp, you can get irritation on the scalp, redness. So try different types of minoxidil to see which one works for you. But then again, if you find something that works for you, stick with that. That's what I've done. I was fortunate enough to have no side effects on Finasteride. And recently I swapped from one Finasteride brand to another, and it was my doctor's mistake. I didn't ask him to change it, it just happened. The one I got actually gave me a bit of testicle pain for like like the first 2 weeks, so I actually prefer the other one because I never got any testicular pain. I'm still on that second one because, like I said, I bought like a 3-month package and it's quite expensive, so I'm just gonna continue to use that. There's no one size fits all, and I mean, same goes for derma rolling. I recommend using a 1.0 millimeter. If you want to use a 2.0 millimeter and you get better results, do that. I'm not an expert, no one is. People can only recommend what they know. This is what I've done, so this is what I know. What's best for you might be different than what is best for me. So don't be afraid to experiment a little bit. Number 4, not managing expectations. This is something that I noticed going into my hair loss journey because I had huge expectations on what the medication could do. And if you haven't watched my hair loss journey, I recently just posted a video about that you can go back and watch. So I've tried various different constellations of medication. I was always so disappointed with the hair loss results until I tried Finasteride, Minoxidil, and Derma rolling. The big 3. But what I always did was I compared my results to other people that I'd seen on YouTube. And that's also what got me so disappointed, because when I just used Finasteride, I would look at people that only used Finasteride and I saw that they had great results. And then I personally didn't get great results from only using Finasteride, so I just beat myself up. But one thing that I've come to learn in this journey is that everyone reacts differently. So I have to manage my expectations based on myself, not based on someone else. So now I know for me that the 3 that I'm currently using for my hair loss regimen is what works best for me, and it's yielded the best results for me. And we all have different expectations on other people and on ourselves, because I can even see this in the comments section on my YouTube videos. The amount of different opinions on my hair that I get is ridiculous. So I get some people that's like, oh, you never balded, I can't believe you're lying about balding. And I'm like, okay, cool. So obviously this guy has waited way too long before he decided to deal with hair loss, and his expectations of what someone with hair loss should look like is obviously very different than my expectations, just because I caught it very early. And then I get some people that's like, oh my god, you're a hyper responder, that's crazy, your results are really insane. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, sure they are, but there's gonna be someone that has better results than me. And then I get people who tell me oh, Victor, what about a hair transplant? Maybe you should go for a hair transplant since, you're not getting the results that you want. And I'm like, there's such a wide variety of different opinions that I'm like, what is even the truth? And the fact is that everything is relative. So all these different people, it's all relative to their own story and the expectations on themselves and the expectations that they project on other people. The worst thing you can do when you're going through this is comparing your results to someone else, because it's never gonna be like someone else's. So compare to yourself, take before and after photos, and make sure you're getting an objective view on what is going on. Is the medication working for you? That's what's important. What's not important is the medication working as well on me as on this guy? Because that's irrelevant, because you're not that person. They may be doing 100,000 different things that you are outside of the hair loss regimen. They have a different genetic makeup. They may have a different problem to you. So yeah, manage your expectations and don't compare yourself to others. And it's the same if you go to the gym. If you've been going for a long time and now you're seeing your physique is always going to be different to other people's physique. Some people just have naturally broader shoulders than you, some people have naturally slimmer waist, some people naturally put on more muscle on their biceps and their triceps so their arms look a lot bigger. Other people have bigger backs, some people have very wide and thick pecs. It's just so different, so we're all unique. Number 5, not building up momentum. You're probably wondering what I mean by this. What I mean is that the skill sets that you learn from dealing with hair loss, for actually combating your hair loss with this hair loss regimen, if you decide to follow what I've done. And by the way, I've just released a hair loss course, which is completely free. It got over 1.5 hours of video content. I would love it if you signed up and registered and started today if you want to combat hair loss. It has all the information you need to give you the highest possibility to regrow your own hair. The link is in my bio, no BS, nothing. It's a gift from me to you. But building up momentum, basically. So the skill set that you learn from dealing with hair loss is consistency, you learn persistence, you learn discipline, delayed gratification. So use this possibility to clean up your act, clean up your life, become a better version of yourself. So let's say there's a job that you have that you don't like, you hate your job, apply these skill sets to get a new job, create a job. Do your own thing. Maybe you have the wrong friend group that won't support you. Okay, then go out and find another friend group, because you want to level up. You don't want to stay and remain at the bottom where you feel miserable and sad and self-conscious. You want to be confident. You want to be the best version of yourself. I mean, everyone wants that. But these skill sets that you learn from dealing with hair loss will actually help you so much with other aspects of your life. So try to find like opportunities outside of hair loss to apply these skill sets, because they're very important. And I mean, like, they are essentially the skill sets that you need to be successful in anything you do. I would highly suggest, if you're interested in self-improvement, to check out Julian Bedrose. He's got a podcast, he's got a YouTube, and he posts like once a week, but it's really useful stuff. He brings out his own personal experience and he applies it to life lessons. It's very easy to digest and leaves you feeling inspired and optimistic about your life. So I highly suggest you watch that if you're into that kind of stuff. Alright, so I hope you learned something today. I hope you found this video somewhat useful, and I shall see you in the next one. And don't make any of these mistakes. Bye.